The Angels have lost 21 of the last 26 games. They've lost 6 games in a row, and John and I are here to tell you why it's actually a really good thing.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for being here for this episode of Locked On Angels, where it's your team every day. You've got the Frisch brothers here with you, a.k.a. the Super Halo Bros. My name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John. And today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com to get started.
On today's show, let's take a deep dive into Grayson Rodriguez's return to the mound. We'll discuss all the shenanigans from all 3 games this weekend. But first, Mike, the Dodgers utterly embarrassed the Angels this weekend.
Yeah. Congratulations, Angels. You suck. They are just the worst team. The Dodgers swept the Angels this weekend, outscored them 31-3 in 3 games. And John, I just really have one thing to say to our favorite team. You suck. Angels, you suck.
You said that already, but that's okay.
You suck, Angels.
You suck.
And
you suck. They're Kurt Angle.
And here's what you need to know, and here's what everydayers need to know. I'm glad that this is happening. Mm-hmm. And I know that seems antithetical to me being the host of this show, and antithetical to my fandom, and antithetical to my Angels love, but I love that they're sucking right now. I love they have the worst record in baseball. I love that they're 16-31. I love that they were outscored 31-3. And I'm going to explain why, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But let's talk about, before we get to the weekend, let's talk about some of the comments that were made, specifically by Kurt Suzuki to everyone's favorite Angel hater, Sam Blum.
Sam Blum asking the good questions, and he asked one, I think, on behalf of probably us and all Angels fans, but this was all before the weekend happened, Mike, where the Angels record at the time of the questions was 16-28. This is coming off a sweep by the Guardians of the Angels. Sam asked Kurt Suzuki, when you look at where the guys are at, is it reflective of a cold stretch over the last 3 weeks, or reflective of where you are at as an organization overall? Here's what Kurt had to say. I truly believe we've hit a cold stretch. Even that being said, there are a lot of games where we're in it. We're one swing away, maybe one pitch away, one out away. And in this game, a lot of weird things happen. It is what it is. You've got to keep pressing forward. You got to keep staying positive, keep believing that your work is good. I think these guys are believing in themselves, believing in each other, and we're going to turn this around. Sam had a follow-up question, and this is the one that I appreciated, because I think Sam got this directly from us, honestly, because this is what a lot of what we've said. He said, I think fans get frustrated hearing the same message year after year. What would you say to the people that are skeptical that this is just a cold stretch? And Kurt said, rightfully so. There's nothing that I could say that's going to turn it around or make people feel better. You've got to go out there and perform. That's the bottom line. We believe in what we're doing here.
Same message, same thing, and he really didn't answer the question. Nothing I could say that's going to turn it around or make people feel better.
I could think of a lot of things you could say, Kurt Suzuki, that would make me feel better, but I digress, Michael.
John, the Angels are just a terrible team, and here's why it's good.
Mm-hmm.
The excuses are gone.
Yeah.
There's no, well, this guy was hurt. Well, we really had a rough patch, or, well, this happened, or, well, that happened. The excuses are gone.
Yeah.
And I know that they are a club that has never lost 100 games. I hope they lose 100. Mm-hmm. I hope they get smoked and continue to get smoked. And partially because we have more views on Locked On Angels when the Angels suck than when they're actually good.
That's actually true.
We'll be able to engage with more everydayers, which we love. But 2, I love when the bully, when the person who's causing the problems can't hide behind the excuses anymore.
Right.
And that's the reality of this team. You can't hide behind the excuses of this team. You can't hide behind injuries of this team. You can't hide behind anything. Like Arte Moreno has no more excuses, has no more talking points. Perry Minasian, when he first got hired, said this is not a 100-loss team. I hope they lose 100 this year because I want that on his record. And then when he doesn't come back as the general manager next year and doesn't get hired by any other baseball team outside of just being a ball boy, I hope he gets what he deserves because he has not been able to put a really good team on this field. And I get he's restrained. I get that he's living in the snow globe that Arte Moreno has created. I understand all of that, but John, he could have re-signed Kenley Jansen and not had some of these other guys in the bullpen. John, he could have gotten another bat. He could have gotten another arm. It wasn't like they were going to spend astronomically, but he could have gotten quality players instead of trying to mix and match and then convince us that his mixing and matching is actually going to put a really good team on the field. And Arte Moreno telling us that he has to figure out what to do because they don't have the TV money anymore. Well, we thought, man, if he negotiates a payout with Anthony Rendon, then that opens up a whole lot of opportunity, some money on actual players. No, all they did in that negotiation was just extend it so they didn't have to pay him $35 to $37 million just this season. They'll pay it over the course of the next couple of seasons. And then Perry Minasian looked at the media and looked at us as everydayers and Angel fans and pretended like we were the stupidest people in the room.
Right.
Money and product and being able to do this and do that. Like the guy is just arrogant and he has no place to be arrogant. And Arte Moreno is arrogant and he has no place to be arrogant. I'm glad that they're losing and I'm glad they got swept. And I'm glad it was swept by the team that has Shohei Ohtani and the team that is making all the money and the team that is taking all of the media rights and the team that's taking all of the money from the commercials and the team that's not too far away from us and the team whose fans took over the stadium. I love all of that because I want it to shine it up real nice and turn it sideways. And if you know WWE, you know where I'm going with that. That's what Arte Moreno and Perry Minasian deserve because they have ruined this team and they've ruined this franchise and they have disenfranchised great fans, including John and I, who have never been more frustrated with a stupid, horrible, awful team. And that is not to excuse the play on the field. That is not to excuse the pitching. That is not to excuse any of that stuff. This whole team is miserable. But why would they actually be joyful? Why would they actually be excited to play with an owner like this and a general manager like this? John, this tells me that Phil Nevin and Ron Washington and even Joe Madden are extremely great managers because what they were able to do in the constraints of this pit that we call hell, they were able to actually be competitive. They were actually able to get to 70 wins. Ron Washington had this team at 500 before he had his heart issue last year. That, to me, is a miracle, and Ron Washington was right. You can't make chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what, and that was an indication as to what he is being given, the cards has been dealt, the players that he has on the field, and it's absolutely ridiculous that the Angels are even in this position. And to act shocked and chagrined and say, "Well, we're just having a really tough stretch," is the stupidest thing that I've ever heard from a manager. Kurt Suzuki has no idea what he's doing. Okay. I'm all done. You take the show.
Well done, Mike. They're out of excuses. They are completely 100% out of excuses. And they've been out of excuses for a while. But I know that you said, Perry has to work within the Arte Snow Globe. You know what? Add that to the excuse list because that's just absolutely ridiculous. The fact is, like you said, all they did with the Anthony Rendon money is recoup that because they knew they weren't going to make as much in TV money as they have in previous seasons. But Mike, this is what happens when you play for a lockout. I said it over the offseason. Arte Moreno is 150,000% playing for a lockout. He is anticipating a lockout. He wants a lockout. He wants the CBA negotiations to go on forever and ever and ever because he wants teams like the Dodgers to pay for what they're doing because they do exactly what they did this weekend. They embarrassed the Angels. You couldn't even watch the Angels on Angels.tv on Friday night because, guess what? The Dodgers broadcast rights overtook the Angels broadcast rights on Friday. MLB literally had to go in and fix it because that was the issue. And thank goodness, I think it was Curtis from Reddit who runs the Angels Reddit was able to get it figured out and share that message. But this is exactly what Arte Moreno wants. You signed a bunch of one-year deals. You signed a one-year manager. You have 1 year left of this GM. You're playing for a lockout. You're not negotiating in good faith, and you never will negotiate in good faith. And you're seeing the results of signing 1 year deals, of signing a first-time manager, of signing a 1 year manager. You're seeing the results on the field. And look, we have seen these guys be talented in the past. And so I'm not going to throw shade on the players right now because, as you said, what do they have to play for? Who do they have to play for? Because it's certainly not the front office. It's certainly not their manager. It's certainly not their coaching staff. None of them are inspired. They're lackadaisical. Some people even believe there's a conspiracy theory to get people fired because they're all playing so bad. And I'd buy that because I would suck because I wouldn't want to play for this team either. And so at the end of the day, they are 150,000% out of excuses. There's nothing left. You can't say it was a bad stretch. You can't say this guy was injured or that guy was injured. You just suck. And you are getting every single thing that you deserve this season. And it comes at the expense of Angel fans and people who have supported this team since its inception, Mike. And to come out with the same talking points of, it is what it is. You got to press on. We got to believe in the work we're doing. And, there's nothing I can say to make people feel better. Alek Manoah coming out and saying, what's up with Velo? I just pitched 5 scoreless innings. None of these people have any right to be as arrogant and cocky and awful as they have been to the media in their explanations anytime they get in front of a microphone. You have no freaking right to be as cocky and as big of a prick as Perry Minasian has been, because this is absolutely ridiculous.
And you caused this, Perry. You caused this, Artie, and then you're just
surprised?
Aghast. You're aghast.
What?
Because I can't believe that they would ask these questions. I know that Sam Blum gets a lot of grief because everybody says that he's negative, but truthfully, there's been moments where, like with Kurt Suzuki this weekend, Sam asked some really good questions.
Who's asking this question if not for Sam Blum, Mike?
Right. Absolutely.
Until we can be in there asking these questions, it's going to have to be Sam Blum.
Yeah, and the truth is that they get so offended by that, and then have to figure out how to maneuver around it. Why would you even ask those questions? Have you seen the dog pile of poop on the field? Have you seen what you've created? Have you seen the rats that are running around?
The rats in the concession and the possum in the bleachers? Let's go. Come on.
It's absolutely ridiculous that they get really offended and get really upset. And John, it is so funny to me that they are now in the position that they are in, because it's removing all of the excuses, all of the well, and all of the I think. It's removing all of that. You look more stupid when you give answers like Kurt Suzuki gave before the weekend started than ever before.
You get what you deserve, in the words of the Joker. I can't use the full line, but that's what I'll stop at. Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. We know you love this team, how we love this team. We've been here before Arte Moreno and Perry Minasian. We will be here after Arte Moreno and Perry Minasian. So better baseball is ahead, according to Perry Minasian, and that's after he's long gone and Arte Moreno is long gone. When we come back, we're going to talk about the 3 games, tons of shenanigans, tons of ridiculousness happening on the field. And again, all deserved, all welcomed, because that's the team that this front office has built. We'll talk about all of that and much more coming right up.
It's NBA playoff time, and FanDuel has you right in the middle of all the action. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Turn $5 into $150. Sign me up. I'm in. I'm going to use FanDuel. I use it often. You should too. And you can use it during the playoffs because everything you need is right in one place. You can check stats, trends, matchups before making your picks, which makes the whole experience feel a whole lot more informed. So whether you're looking at player props or just following your favorite stars, it adds another level of excitement to every game. And it's a really easy app to navigate, and it makes the playoff basketball that you're watching on TV or listening on the radio even more engaging from start to finish. So head to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game.
And today's show is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Now, if you've got a sweet tooth like Micah does, like I do, you know how tough it is to find that perfect treat without all the sugar, and that's why Cotton Candy 5 Hour Energy Shot brings back the nostalgic flavor in a whole new way. This is the classic cotton candy taste. I'm already thinking about the taste.
Ooh, so good.
It's the classic taste you remember with a tasty caffeine boost and zero sugar. It's a quick, easy way to satisfy that sweet craving while keeping things simple and on the go. The flavor really does bring back that throwback fruity vanilla vibe, and it's surprisingly smooth, and it's super convenient as well. It's a small portable shot that you can just grab and go whenever you need a little pick-me-up. It becomes my go-to when I want something sweet without going overboard. So bring on the sweetness with Cotton Candy 5-Hour Energy Shots, available online now at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day, and thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network in the country. And we would love for you to join the Everydayer Club. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to connect with you. And you can join the Everydayer Club and get Locked On Angels ad-free and access to our private listener group chat. Just head to lockedonangels.supercast.com or tap the link in the show notes. Johnny, on Friday, the series started with the Dodgers, and I went to the game.
You did.
Got invited by a friend to sit in the dugout suites.
TFTI, Michael.
Free ride, and free ticket, so I didn't have to put any money in Artie's pocket. I appreciated the invite. John, who would have thought that was going to be the most competitive game, was the Friday night game, because every other game was just a complete blowout. The Angels lost this one 6-0. I'd love for you to give the highlights or lowlights in a second, but while we were sitting in the dugout suites, it's not just everydayers and Angel fans that are really frustrated with this team and with this ownership. The host in our dugout suite, when a comment was made, the guy who owns our suite said, "What do you guys want to buy? Anything you want to buy? Any food you want to get?" And somebody said, "How about you buy the team?" And the host, who works for Arte Moreno, said, "That would be incredible. You should buy this team. We need a whole lot of help." Then they made another derogatory comment about the attendance because it was full of Dodger fans and how this is going to be the only sellout of the year. Artie, your staff at the stadium doesn't like you either, okay? Doesn't like you at all.
Sounds like somebody just lost their job. Well done, Michael. No, so, Mike, in that game, Jack Kohanowitz gave up 3 home runs to the Dodgers, and that's all the scoring that they needed. Jack had given up 2 home runs this entire season, and it was sinkers left up in the zone, didn't have a feel for it, that got sent out 3 times in one game. And in that very same game, the Dodgers, instead of Robleski starting like was previously listed when we recorded our Friday show, it was going to be Blake Snell. However, he was scratched and put on the IL. So the Dodgers go with a bullpen game, and they 2-hit the Angels while striking out 11. And of course, when the Angels couldn't buy a hit, the bullpen goes 3 scoreless of 1-hit ball. So pressure's off, and they could pitch elite Kirby Yates and Suter, and Johnson's back in the bullpen. Mike, I got to say, one of the things that was most impressive from the Dodgers World Series run in 2024 was the bullpen game that they had to throw against the Padres. So when I heard that they were going to throw a bullpen game against the Angels and Dave Roberts was going to be in charge of that, I knew that this was how it was going to be, because you're going to face all these different arms, you're going to face all these different guys, and the Angels only have a plan of attack for one guy when they probably thought it was Robleski, and then Snell, and then it's a bullpen game. So, of course, they got 2 hit on Friday night.
Yeah, Saturday was even worse. 15-2 was the score. Angels lost. By the way, did you know the nets are in play?
Yeah, apparently the safety nets are in play.
Yeah, we all learned that the nets are in play. Shohei hits a Little League home run that became a triple with an error. It landed fair and then bounced into the netting. And instead of being an automatic double, it was a triple with a throwing error by Joe Adell. And then there was a lot of confusion about, like, wait, it hit the net and what happened there? And Jared Timms of Talking Halos actually tweeted and had the rule on his Twitter. You actually, I think, shared it on our social media. But the funny part was all of the experts, all the Dodger fans who became experts that were like, yeah, actually, It's in the rule book.
It's in the rule book. Section 32B of the ground rules in subsection 3, paragraph 4, per the MLB rule book states that the netting, like, shut up. You didn't know it was a rule before it happened either. Nobody knew it was a rule. Mike, in the time that the nets have been extended all the way down to the foul pole, have we ever seen this happen? Because I don't think I have at Angel Stadium. And rightfully so, Joe Adell thought it was out of play. However, he, lollipops it back in there, and that's why Ohtani's able to score. So at that point, it didn't even, look, it's 15-2. It would have been 12-2, right? Like, that would have been the difference maker there. Yeah. But come on. Nobody knew that was the rule, and so it just MLB is not beating the Ohtani allegations of like changing the rules for him or stuff like that. We make a joke, everybody takes it way too seriously. You guys are just bitter ex-girlfriends. Like, you didn't know it was in the rule book. Nobody knew it was in the rule book. The best minds around baseball didn't understand that. Oh, okay, apparently that's part of the wall and still fair play because. In every other situation, that netting isn't there. It bounces into the seats. Look, who knew that safe and affordable, that the safe part of that would cost the Angels a Little League home run to Shohei Ohtani? And the, maybe we should just take the nets down because the only people sitting back there were the BMI kings and queens back there from Dodgerland. So at the end of the day, maybe we should just take the nets down and let them fend for themselves behind the netting.
Now, speaking of Adell, he did make an error. There was another situation that kind of got him in a bit of a pickle, so to speak. Teoscar Hernandez dropped a fly ball from Oswald Peraza, and it was a great catch, but then he hit the wall and the ball popped out. Well, Adell didn't see it drop, so he's running back to first. Peraza told him to go back, and then Adell was thrown out on a force play. And you texted me and said, oh, great, here comes the Adell slander. But I said, you know what? None of these guys are above slander right now because they're just not engaged. They're lackadaisical. They're not playing hard. They're not hustling. And so in a situation like that, I know that it might have been a bad all around for Adell because his head was down. He was running back. He's doing what you're supposed to be doing. He didn't know the ball was going to drop, right? But that's just how the season has gone so far for the Angels. Nothing has fallen their way.
Jose Soriano suddenly loses command. He pitched 5 innings of 1-run ball and then suddenly lost command in the 6th inning. 2 hit by pitches and 3 walks. He faced 6 batters before he was pulled, Michael. And Chase Silseth comes in, hits a batter of his own in the first at bat, and lets everyone else on base score. 6 runs, 1 hit on 6 runs for Jose Soriano. So one of the most ridiculous stat lines you'll ever see. 6 runs, 1 hit on Jose Soriano because of all of the walks that came in. Yeah.
And, there you are, Alek Manoah.
Oh, there you are, Alek Manoah.
We found you. He came in the 8th inning down 6-2. And this was exactly what we thought it would be. This is what we thought it would be, right?
Warming up the hands here.
Everydayer Club members said, John, you could go 200% all in on people who gave you grief about your Alek Manoah comments last week. You know, he pitched 5 scoreless. When they were down 7 runs, his velo was down, and then he was, a smart aleck about it, right? And you said, listen, his velo's down. Like, this is an anomaly, right? And people were like, wow, it's 5 scoreless innings. Like, they got really upset with you. Well, look at what we have here. My, how the turntables have turned.
That's right. Look, I reached out to our Everydayer Club. I said, how hard can I go on this talking point? I said 25%, 100%, 50%, 0, 200. Everybody told me 200%, all in. Go after. Well, guess what happened, everybody? Just like I said would happen, he had 88 miles an hour on the sinker, 82 to 83 on the changeup, which was probably his 4-seam fastball, but it was misclassified as a changeup because it was so slow. And what did he do? He gave the game away when it was still 6-2. Now, did I have hope the Angels would come back? No, absolutely not.
Right.
However, this is exactly what I said was going to happen the next time he went out there. I know he pitched 5 scoreless as the Angels were down 7-0, but you know who else would do that? Jose Suarez and Jaime Barria and Jonathan Hernandez. Was that his name? Jonathan, one of those names.
Something like
and it's the same kind of guy. Every now and then, when there's no pressure, they do their thing. 5 scoreless innings from Alek Manoah. This is great. Look, if you wanted to be hopeful about that, then more power to you.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, this is why we do what we do. People can call me a nerd. People can say that StatCast is stupid. Baseball Savant is stupid. But this is the reason why. So that you don't get duped by Alek Manoah. And just like The Who, I don't want you to be fooled again, because this is exactly what I said was going to happen. He was going to throw beach balls, and beach balls he threw, Michael. And so did the fans in the crowd, because they had nothing better to do as Angel fans than to blow up a couple beach balls and throw them around the thing. I've popped them with my keys because I think it's hilarious when people throw beach balls. I don't know about you, but I've done that because I'm like, pay attention to the game. Well, there's no reason to pay attention to the game, so I will not be popping any beach balls this season. But the Dodgers popped Alek Manoah's beach balls. That's not a euphemism. That's just what happened, Michael.
Yeah, and speaking of, we knew this was going to happen. We told you so. 10-1 loss on Sunday, and Roki Sasaki looked like Roki Cy Young Sasaki, because he was 7 innings strong, 4 hits, 1 earned, 8 Ks on 91 pitches, because of course he did.
His best start of his career, Mike.
Terrible team. Yeah, the Angels didn't walk in this game. Yohan Moncada, he bought himself 4 more weeks on the team because he had an RBI. Yay!
That's
that
how
singular RBI is going to keep him on this team. He's a veteran. He's in a slump. This is what happens. What's what happens when you're playing a lot of games, and you just got to push through.
The work that he's doing, he's
doing
the same work. He's preparing
the same work. He's
playing
the show.
He's just got to perform.
The show. He's pressing the buttons, and he's doing it. It's fantastic. This game fell apart, exploded because Grayson Rodriguez didn't cover first base.
Right.
I mean, that was really kind of where it fell apart.
Didn't know where to throw it. He went, oh, I'm going to throw to second. Oh, nobody's at second. Neto, Frazier, where you at, guys? Nobody's.
Sean O'Well gets into situations where it just makes me go, man, gosh, that guy, like,
why does it have to be him getting into these situations?
Yeah, I actually Friday night he struck out looking, and I am sitting in the dugout suites. Did I mention I was in the dugout suites? And
I think you brought that up.
I'm sitting in the dugout suites, and he strikes out looking after swinging at terrible pitches, and I went, swing the bat, Nolan! And he looked over at my buddy, he's not a huge baseball fan. He looks at me, and then Nolan looked at us, and I think he didn't know where it was coming from. And my buddy goes, bro, I think he heard you. And I said, yeah, swing the bat. I was so frustrated. And then Sunday, again, just another situation where you're like, you throw your hands up, right? You don't know what to do. You just throw your hands up in the air, because it was a mess. It was a mess of a weekend, all weekend long. It was terrible. There were gnats at home plate. There, there was a possum in the bleachers in game 3.
The gnats have been a thing forever, because you can see it on the broadcast, but it got so bad that the players literally complained, like, I couldn't see anything that was being thrown.
We don't have some spray. We can't spray in between innings. Right. Like, what are we doing?
Why are there gnats? What disgusting feces are leaking under home plate that there are gnats above home plate? Why is there a leak in the press room? Why is there a possum? This is not the Oakland Coliseum. Why are there mice in the concession stands? Why are there gnats at home plate? Burn the whole thing to the ground. Just burn it down. Get some sage. Give it back to the Native Americans that the land was probably stolen from, because apparently the whole house is cursed, Mike.
ED is more common than most guys think. Millions of guys deal with it at some point in their life, and that's exactly why HIMS offers a straightforward way to handle it. HIMS connects you with licensed healthcare providers online, giving you access to legitimate ED treatments and options from the comfort of your own home. No awkward appointments or pharmacy lines, just straightforward process that makes it easier to take care of yourself. And the whole process is very simple. You just complete a quick online intake, and a provider reviews all of your information. And if treatment is right for you, it ships directly to your door in a discreet package, which makes the whole experience feel private and stress-free. To get a simple online process and personalized, affordable care with ED for HIMS and even hair loss and weight loss, just go to hims.com/lockedonmlb. That's hims.com/lockedonmlb. Prescription is required. See website for details and important safety information. Sildenafil is a generic version of Viagra. Viagra is a registered trademark of Viatris Specialty LLC. HIMS is not affiliated or endorsed by Viatris.
Now, I don't want to pile on before we talk about Grayson Rodriguez, but our guy, Logan O'Hoppe, comes back probably too early, it seemed like, because he gets hit on the wrist, has to come out of the game Friday. Poor guy takes one to the, punching bags on Saturday. Like, guys,
he was frustrated too. They had the camera right up on his face, and he was like, "Mother."
It's just like, get the camera out of my face. I don't.
Right.
Nobody wants a camera in their face in that moment.
Yeah.
So, especially as dudes, I think we can all understand where he was coming from.
Yep.
Listen, Grayson Rodriguez pitched in the majors for the first time since July of 2024. It was not a good start by any means. However, as I've said before, let's look at the underlying stuff. Let's look at the metrics. Let's look at Baseball Savant, because it just goes and proves me right every single time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just on one today, so ignore me. Grayson Rodriguez, 3 2/3, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, 4 walks, and 4 Ks on 79 pitches. Where's the guy that threw 2 walks in all the innings he threw on his rehab assignment? That's what I want to know. Mike, he was not very good, but he is healthy. I think that's key. He averaged about 96 on his 4-seam fastball, touched 99 at one point. Now, there were 13 balls put in play, 7 hits. First pitch strikes to 12 of 21 hitters. Not a lot of swing and miss, Mike. Only a 24% whiff rate. 56% of his pitches were in the zone, and only a 20% chase rate. That's concerning, because the last time he was in the majors, he had a 30% whiff rate, 30.6% chase rate, and a 26.5% strikeout rate. Now, the good news is that mechanically, everything's there. The velo, the spin rate, the movement. I think it's just a matter of, this was the first game back in the majors since 2024, July of 2024. Mike, is it a tough task facing the World Series champions in your first game back? Did they rush him back because they didn't want to go to anybody else? Because all indications are he's healthy. Yeah. But to put him in this role, hey, dude, why don't you pitch against the Dodgers in your first game back? I am encouraged, because everything that's there will become more refined as he continues to start after start. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't think they have the luxury of picking and choosing when they want guys to get back to the majors. I think it was just a matter of them going, yeah, this is an open spot. Let's put you in there. It's neat to see that his health looks good, but there was I think it was a Baltimore Orioles fan or somebody connected with the Orioles that retweeted us on social media, and John had posted, it wasn't good, but he looked healthy, and they, I think to paraphrase, they said, spoken like a true O's fan, or something along those lines, where they really were indicating, like, this is what Orioles fans used to say about Rodriguez.
The familiar denial that every Orioles fan knows oh so well. That was from, his name is Thirst Round Pick, MD. So
nice. Nice. Well, and that's the concern, right? Is this guy just a knucklehead, or does he actually bring something? It's nice to see that he's healthy. It is against the Dodgers. I don't want to make any sort of decisions about him until I see him pitch a couple more games and get some regular starts in. This team is operating as a team that's kind of a feeder for other teams. They're like a quad A team, right? Yeah. And they're a feeder for other teams. And so they don't operate with a strategy. They just operate with what's the need today. And what the need is we needed a starter on Sunday, so let's have Grayson Rodriguez take it, because other guys aren't ready for it, or we're not ready to trust them with it, or they aren't healthy. So I think, it's a combination of, it's the Dodgers. Dodgers are really good, and Grayson, first time he started in 2 years. So give him some grace. Let's see what he does in his next couple of starts. Remember, we've got 3 more years of this guy. So whatever he does this season, I think just needs to be him getting stretched out and getting used to being back on the mound again.
Again, I'm really encouraged by all of the metrics that say, hey, did his, is his fastball going to fall to 82 like Alek Manoah? No. If you go and look at the underlying metrics, you can see that everything was right in line with what he has done over the course of his career. That's a really good thing, especially given how much time off that he's had. Now, I know he pitched in spring training. The walks were an issue in spring training too, but part of that is, Mike, 20% chase rate in this game, and having a 30.5% chase rate in 2024, he's not fooling guys. And so I wonder if it's a matter of, that slider needs to be a little bit closer to the plate, not as wide, not as far and outside. It's stuff like that I think mechanically and fundamentally is going to take some time for him to get back to. We've said it since the beginning. If year one is a wash for Grayson Rodriguez, then so be it. And so far, this entire season is a wash because you signed 1-year deals. You planned on competing. You're not competing. You're out of excuses. And it's just so delicious to watch this go up in flames the way that it did this weekend.
Thanks for making Washed Out Angels your first listen of the day. Make sure to join the Everydayer Club. We'd love for you to be there and share your thoughts with us. It's built just for you. You can visit lockedonangels.supercast.com to join the club.
Hey, be sure you give us a follow on Twitter at LockedOnAngels and at Super Halo Bros on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether you're watching or listening, we'd love to read your comments in the comment section on YouTube. So come on over to today's show on YouTube. Get in the comment section while you're there. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We need each other more than ever right now. And I'm not just saying that you need us, the Super Halo Bros. The Super Halo Bros need you as well. So be sure you get subscribed and chat it up with us. Mike, when we come back on Tuesday, what do we have on deck?
Maybe we'll talk about a win. Maybe. But here's the thing. We're going to be here no matter what.
Yeah.
Because we are going to make sure that our good buddy, Perry Minasian, and our good buddy, Arte Moreno, know that you're unhappy and that we're unhappy. So win or loss, we're going to be here. We're hoping for a win, and we'll break down the game tomorrow on Locked On Angels.
Yeah, they got the A's rolling into town, so watch all those rookies who have lapped us in their rebuild put a crooked number on the Angels tonight. All right, friends, we hope you'll come back and join us. Until then, my name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
All the true sickos who love this team and all the everydayers who love to watch and listen, we will see you back here on Tuesday.
I didn't mention the person's name that was in the dugout who worked at the stadium. I didn't mention their name at all.
I think I said a bad word I probably shouldn't have said. Sorry, family.